questions about vasanas? Does anybody think they understand vasanas pretty well? Because I won't give you this teaching unless you think you need it.
I need it. Yeah. A vasana is based on your likes and dislikes, right? So
A vasana is your likes and dislikes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yeah, and that vasana, the vasanas are your likes and vasanas are not your likes and dislikes. They become your likes and dislikes. The vasana becomes a like and a dislike in the subtle body. We call that kama. But a vasana is the footprint of your past action. So whenever you do an action with desire and fear, in other words, if fear or desire is motivating an action that you do, in other words, you want the result, then what are you going to get? You're going to tend to repeat that action again, aren't you? That tendency to repeat an action is called a vasana. That's all. It's the fragrance of an action. Understand? Food. So, some people have, everybody's got a food vasana, but some people what? Have a serious food vasana, like me. I keep ballooning up and then shrinking down and ballooning up. And I have to keep controlling my food vasana, because otherwise I get like this. So right now I'm reasonably chubby, but I'm not too bad. But if I don't keep an eye on my food vasana, I turn into this great big slobby, blobby person. And it's just a fact. I'm sorry, I'm not even embarrassed by it. Because I know you love my radiance. So when you do an action with desire and fear, you get a tendency to repeat that action. If the action is successful, you get a desire. If the action is unsuccessful, you get a fear. You go away from an object, or you go toward an object. They call it pravritti and nivritti. Nivritti means going away from objects, and pravritti means going toward objects. And so the more you repeat it, the stronger, the more vasanas you get. And those vasanas create a great scar, a samskara, so that after a while, all your energy runs into that scar, into that vasana, and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Whatever it is. Workaholics, people go to work. Sexaholics, alcoholics, drugaholics. In other words, addictions and compulsions are just what? Vasanas that have become samskaras, and they're out of control and are causing you to act. Now, if you have discrimination, our whole point is that you need to have control of your vasanas. They need to be under your control. They shouldn't be the ones that are telling you what to do. You should be choosing which vasanas to create and which vasanas to destroy. You should have control over it. Karma yoga is the beginning of that. Jnana yoga is also, the purpose of jnana yoga is what? To manage your desires, your fears, and so forth and so on. We're going to manage our vasanas here. Karma yoga is vasana management. Jnana yoga is vasana management. Triguna vibhava yoga is vasana management. So you get the body that you have according to your vasana. There was a man and a woman, and they had a serious sex vasana, and they were just carried on all the time. They just loved each other. They were just having sex all the time. It was just a big deal for them. And they made a vow. They made a vow that if one of them died first, the other one would somehow communicate from beyond the grave whether or not there was sex in the afterlife. That was the deal. Because the one knew to be following the other one there, And she was anxious, are we going to be able to have sex on the other side? So the man dies, and the woman is, she's unhappy because she's used to having sex 3 or 4 times a day, and it's really hard on her. And she loves her husband. She doesn't want to go out and have sex with anybody else because he had the best sex with him was ever, and she never. So she's going to have to wait to find out. So one day she's sitting there, and she's thinking, she says, "Are you here? I feel that you're here." And then his voice comes out of it. He says, "Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm on the other side. And I just came back to talk to you." She said, well, what's it like over there? He said, "Oh, it's great. It's great. I wake up in the morning, I have sex. I go to breakfast and I have sex. And after breakfast, I have some more sex. And then we just have sex till lunch, and then we have sex during lunch, and then sex. It's just sex. So thank God. She said, "I can't wait to die." She said, "By the way," she said, "where are you?" He said, "I'm a rabbit in Arizona." If you eat overeating, you're going to end up with a pig body next time. So, that's the idea. So your vasanas are what? They're controlling, regulating, and governing you. They're controlling your body and your appetites and your fears and your desires, and so forth and so on. And they're the ones that give you the pleasure and the pain.
Ramji, quite a question.
Yeah.
How do you know whether it's under control or not then? A vasana or a fear or desire? What's the...
What do you mean, how do you know?
Well, meaning...
Well, you feel a lot better when you got control of your cravings. As soon as you exercise a little bit of control, as soon as you say no, yeah, it's painful. I mean, look, when you say no to something that's giving you pleasure, or you think is giving you pleasure, you're only saying no because you realize that what's giving you pleasure is also giving you pain, isn't it? That's the point here. You said the body gives you pleasure and pain. If you go for the pleasure side, what are you going to get? Pain, dummy. It's built in. If you can't say no to something, that's painful. It's better live a simple, moderate life and say no right up front at the beginning. To the second cookie. I found myself, I was stuffing a couple extra of those cookies in there, and in my mind, my ego was telling, "Oh, that's for your wife." This is for my wife. My ego was trying to fool me. Oh yeah, get a couple for Sundari. Sundari never saw those cookies. Fighting with your wife or your husband. Huh? What if you're arguing and fighting with somebody and quarreling with somebody? That's pain. You're indulging yourself here, huh? There's some pleasure that's producing that pain. You better figure it out. You know what Krishna's all the time saying in the Gita? He says in a number of places, over and over in the Gita, he says, control your senses at the outset, at the beginning. When that little tickle comes up, think it through. Is it reasonable? Okay, look. When I first met Swamiji, I'd been with him about 3 weeks, and I decided to go to India with him. And there was another woman that was a friend of mine, and she went along too. we got off we had to stop in Guam, the island of Guam, to refuel. We were going to stop in Guam, refuel, then go to Hong Kong, then go to India. We had a seminar, teaching in Hong Kong for 10 days, and they let everybody off the plane. This was a long time ago. In those days, it was pretty cool, you know. Now it's terrorist bullshit and all this security crap. And, you know, if you stopped for a couple hours to service the plane in some weird place, you could get off and walk around and do stuff. So we were sitting in a kind of airport lounge area. It wasn't really much of an airport. And with Swamiji, he only did satsang. He didn't do small talk. So we sat down, and my friend asked him and said, well, because it was during the sexual revolution. So, of course, sex was a big issue. And for everybody, everybody's thinking about sex. There's like a bunch of reborn rabbits from Arizona. And she said, well, what about sex, Swami? You know, because what she was expecting was that he said, no sex for you, no sex. Now you're a Jnana Yogi, you're following Vedanta, no sex for you. That's what she was worried about, you see, because she was pretty sexy. And so she was thinking, I don't know if I want to sign up for this Vedanta thing, because maybe they're going to say I can't have sex. He should have said, well, go to Osho. Sorry, Osho people. If there's any Osho people there, I'm sorry. He said, no, our attitude on sex is you should sin intelligently. Sin intelligently. I love that. That's what Buddha called the madhyamika, the middle path. Hey, throw the dog a bone now and again. The dog's a hungry dog. But don't just throw him slabs of red meat all day long. Understand? Once in a while, throw him a bone, let him have a little enjoyment, and keep it under control. That's why Krishna says, at the outset, think about this, whatever it is, food, sex, money. Money's another one. People get so addicted and so attached to money. It's another one of my vices, by the way. So any of you who want to, help me with my vice, please. Just joking. Sex, you name it, whatever it is. Exercise. You could, people become fanatics, and they'll destroy themselves by being too healthy. See these guys that are all fit and buff and everything, and then, they're on a big, marathon jog, and then they drop dead. Serves them right. Because basically it's like fear. The fear they're going, they want to live forever in fear and afraid of a pain or whatever it is, and then, they overdo it. So the idea here is what? Is to be reasonable. Think about it. Don't let this vasanas start to control you.